All right, so um, Chapter 2, Lesson 4, first section, the Constitutional Convention, Agreements and Compromises. So here we are. We're at this point where we just realized the Articles of Confederation aren't going to work, okay? Period, full stop. So what do? Do we split up into 13 independent countries, or do we become one country with a stronger central government? And people decide one country with a stronger central government is the way to go. The colonies, most of them are not strong enough to defend themselves against the European powers, specifically England. So the decision is made, we're going to stick together. And they all get together in Philadelphia, or representatives from each colony get together in Philadelphia, and they start bantering around ideas on how can we make this work, okay? The bigger states think what's only fair is that we have a parliament, or a Congress as we call it, that has representation based on population. Okay, so this is what's going to turn into the House of Representatives. In California, we have something like 50. Let's look it up. Let's just for fun. Let's look it up. If we were actually in class together, this is really what I do a lot more than here online. Members of the House of Representatives. Biggest, too small. Right. Let's see if that's the right thing. Is it going to tell me? Maybe I should have typed in the word states. That could have given me the numbers I'm specifically looking for. I thought I was just there. Is there a list somewhere? I just kind of want a simple list. No, thanks for that though. Okay, this looks more like it. Oh, thanks, Britannica. Way to be there for me. Boy, this isn't working out the way I had hoped it would. I'm spending too much time doing this. Okay, I think that you guys. Shouldn't have been that hard. Okay, that's gonna look really bad. So this is a list right here, alphabetically, of the amount of members of the House of Representatives per state. And you can see that the bigger states, for example, California, we have 53 members in the House of Representatives. Okay, and the smaller states, okay, for example, North Dakota, have 1. So the House of Representatives is based on its apportionment. The membership is based on how larger each state's population is. And the states with a larger population have more members in the House of Representatives. The states with the least representatives have less members in the House of Representatives. And that makes sense, right? Because that's how democracy works. Part of democracy is this idea of equal representation, okay, that people are equally represented. And the House of Representatives is just that. The House of Representatives has equal representation per citizen of the United States. Most state assemblies and state senates, ours in California, is also equal representation. So the San Fernando Valley has 1 million people. We have 2 or 3 representatives. okay? Bishop and Lone Pine and Independence, these small cities on the way out to Mammoth, all together, including Mammoth, including they only have one because not a lot of people live there. I mean, this is what democracy is about. It's about equal representation. So the members of the Constitutional Convention coming up with this plan said, look, this is the only way to do it, right? It's only fair if we do it in terms of equal representation. But the members of the smaller states said no. Okay, the member of the smaller states said, we need to do this one representative per state. Therefore, Rhode Island would have as many representatives as Virginia in this plan. That was then called, so the Virginia plan, which was the most populous state, was the one that had equal representation. The New Jersey plan, and New Jersey was a smaller state, said no, one representative per state, okay, which is not equal representation. So they agreed, they made a compromise, and they said, the only fair way to do this is if we have two different bodies, two different Congresses, two different parts of the legislative branch, okay? We have the House of Representatives, which is equal representation, and then we have the Senate. And the Senate is two representatives per state. But understand that until 1903, I believe, in that basic area, the senators were chosen by the state legislatures. So senators were not voted on by the people of the state until 1900. For the first 100 plus years of our country, senators were chosen by the members of the state legislatures. And that idea is called the Connecticut Compromise. Okay, so there are three important plans to understand. The Virginia plan, representation based on population. The New Jersey plan, one senator per state, and one representative per state. And the Connecticut Compromise created two different parts of Congress, the House and the Senate. The House is based on population. The Senate is based on two per state. And then until 100 years ago or 115 years ago, senators were chosen by state legislatures. So the people could only vote for the House of Representatives. Okay, that's important to understand. And let me just quickly peek at something. I do this because I thought I had lined something up that was interesting. The video that I assigned for you guys as my secondary agenda video has a list of the population of the states and the early representation in the House of Representatives. So you can see that at this point, Virginia had a population of 750,000 people, okay? Delaware had a population of 60,000 people. So in the House of Representatives, you can see that Delaware had 1 and Virginia had 24 representatives. Again, only fair, equal under the concept of equal representation. If you believe in the concept of equal representation, which you don't have to, then you think it's only fair that the representation in the House of Representatives be based on, or in the legislative branch in general, be based on population, okay? But understand that the smaller states didn't want this. And the only way to get the smaller states to agree to this constitution would be if you included a plan that made it so that there were one representative per state, regardless of population. And what's interesting, we're going to find out, is that the last states to agree to this constitution were the big ones, because they just kept saying this constitution is unfair. This constitution is rigged, and it gives unequal population, unequal representation to the smaller states. And the truth of the matter is that it does. Our Constitution gives unequal representation to the smaller states. The smaller states have more power in Washington, D.C. than the bigger states. We live in the biggest state. We are affected by this the most. And it's funny, right? If you ever talk to someone from North Dakota who has 2 senators and a population of 1 million people, And you talk, and then you're from California, and you're like, well, we have 40 million people, and we have 2 senators. Is that fair? Explain to me how that's fair. They will explain to you how it's fair. There's no one in, not no one, but majority of people in North Dakota, including their elected representatives, won't say to you, honestly, it's not fair. The system is set up in a bad way. They're going to find a way to say, oh, no, 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 states' rights. Oh, no, no, no. This is fair because blank. Then those people are not preaching an ideal of equal representation, but instead they're preaching an ideal of, I love the fact that we have more power based on our population, which is fine to believe that way.